One of the magic things about Dad was he was a storyteller. And therefore, if you read his biography, you'll find that many of the stories I'll tell, he told to audiences in 2 or 3 different ways. So it's not always the same story, it was always a story slightly made up, but it always got to the same ending. So the first story I'll tell is when he was 10. And he was going to be sent away to summer holidays, not sent away, going down to his aunt. I think it was near Brighton. And it was the first time he'd been out of London and the first time he'd see the sea. And it was magic, and it meant he could escape his family, and all the problems with polio would disappear to a small degree. He went down, and the aunt, in quotes, that he was staying with, was a lovely, kind person who would help him do something which was not running around the sands. He couldn't run around the sand so much, but it involved drawing and writing and telling stories and things. So when he got back from that terrific holiday, with lots of sun, but not that brown, and lots of sea, but not much in it, but lots and lots of memories, he was asked by the teacher, as everyone always is, so what did you do in summer holidays? And we'd put our hands up and he'd say, write it. So he had to write the story, nothing he'd really done at school very well. And when the correction came in, when they were given in, came back the next day, usually it was always the worst first, and that was nearly always Dad, because he had nothing to say, frankly. This time he was the last. And the teacher said, this is really good, Jack. They called him Jack in those days. Where did you write this? And he said, well, it was my summer holiday. It wasn't. It was a slightly more elaborate story. And he said, Jack, you should become a writer. And from then on, said Dad, he determined that from the age of 10, he'd become a writer. Now, if you read it, you can see that sometimes it's a headmaster, sometimes it's his master, sometimes a friend who was a student. But they're all the same story. And from then on, he never stopped writing. And what had actually happened was he was given a bit of confidence in order to do something he knew he could do. He then went on to have 743 rejections. That means 743 letters coming back over a decade saying you're no good. He never ever lost sight of it. And he'd always try and work out what was wrong with that. His instant reaction was how bad and how dare they write it. And then a couple of days later, he'd look at it and think, well, I think they may have been right. So that was very much Dad in those early days. So that was how he started.